Leslie and I have known each other since early childhood. We grew up on the same country road in Mississippi.
I think why we're good for the community of Mississippi is because we're a product of this community. We are just two country guys, and we were embedded with what I call the diamonds of good character.
Come, join the family, and help us build the community.
Charles, my dear friend, what's up, man?
Oh, it's Friday, brother. Much needed.
It is Friday. Although all the days run together right now, but it is Friday.
They do. But happy to get here. A couple days post-election. And first time our outgoing president spoke.
I didn't get a chance to listen to it, so fill me in.
Well, he wanted to show off his new hairstyle. He's got gray hair now. And he wanted to campaign a little bit, which is odd since the election is over. I think the more troubling thing is he did not address the skyrocketing infection numbers for COVID-19. He did talk a little bit about the upcoming vaccines.
Okay.
But all things Trump, you got to consider whether or not it's fact or a lie, just to be honest. I mean,
well, I think most of America can agree with that. I mean, he is who he says he is, for that matter. I mean, he told you. One thing about it, he tells you what he's going to do. He's done what he said he was going to do. So
he does. He is now 1 for 14 in court as of this afternoon.
What's the one? Was that in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, getting some cases segregated or something, like some votes.
Oh yeah. Dealing with the Supreme Court ruling. Initial. Okay. Yeah.
They refiled it another way yesterday, and they got dismissed today. And then he filed something in Michigan trying to block them from certifying the votes in Wayne County, which is basically Detroit.
That's Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah. And the judge was quick to point out that for all the people that entered affidavits, he was quick to point out that, well, yeah, you probably did see more of Biden votes than Trump votes because you got beat by 200,000 votes in Michigan.
I mean that would make sense.
And so that stands to reason. It may be a few more. So that would be
just a few. Look, man, this is like theater. You can't pay for this theater, but the reality is, I think most people know, well, no matter what side of the fence you're on, honestly, if you ask most people, they're like, come on, man. And, and ironically, when you think about it, 4 years ago, Hillary Clinton sat in the same position in terms of being, embarrassed, hurt, or whatever, but she still, whether you like her or not, she still came out and conceded. And I think the reality is, whether we wanted to like the decision or not, we sat on that side, we tasted defeat, and we moved on. And that's all it is. It's
the American way. That's how we do things.
That's just the way we do it. We move on. This election is a fault. They're bitter. It reminds me of my football days, man. You fight bitter on that field. You fought bitter on that court. I mean, you didn't like the person between the numbers. For high school, it was 48 minutes of funk.
Yeah.
And I could care less who your mama, daddy, grandmama was. For 48 minutes, I wanted to destroy everything about you.
But when the game ended, when the horn sound,
man, when the game over, we gonna dap you up. I'm gonna congratulate you if you won.
Yeah,
great game, man. And we all with it. We all talking about whatever we got to talk about.
Yeah, but that's sportsmanship. I hate it. This is my biggest problem with all of this. You've got 10, 11, 12, all the way up to 17-year-olds. This is their for most of them, this is the first election that they understand what's going on.
Right.
And they're going to have a taste in their mouth that, well, you're not supposed to concede. What sense does that make? Kids watch a lot.
Not only do they watch a lot, but they listen to a lot. And I think the reality is when we look at what's going on right now, I mean, there's just no sportsmanship here. I mean, that's really what this is about. And I think that's the message you want to send to our kids and future leaders that, look, you're gonna lose some battles. But you still got to lose with as much grace as you win with. You know, that's what we were always taught. And look, you and I have friends on both sides of the aisle. We've had opposing viewpoints. This is nothing new. It's just the way you handle it. And we were always held to a higher standard. How you handle yourself. In fact, what was told, how you handle yourself in defeat is more of a defining picture of your character than what you do when you win.
That's right. Because your character doesn't really show through in a win. That's bravado.
Everybody can win.
Everybody can get pumped up when you win, but what do you do when you get knocked down?
You know, I've never met a person that had a problem winning.
No.
You know, look, it's we all love to win. That's why we play the game. But there's a certain decorum, and right now it's about the country. It's about moving forward. It really is about unity coming together. Because at the end of the day, you fight hard, you come back together, and you move forward as a country. Right now, what we need to be fighting against, every single one of us, we need to be fighting against this thing called Corona, because it has no respect of any of us.
Now watch this. You say that. Now watch this. The whole purpose of having a press conference today was not to check on the American people, was not to acknowledge that they have loved ones who are sick or are dying. It was to take credit for the vaccine announcement that's not even here yet.
All right, say that again, brother.
You hear what I said?
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me get you where you hold on, because
I
heard you.
I said the whole purpose of the presser today was not to check on the American people who are experiencing COVID and economic distress and have loved ones who have passed. The whole purpose of it was to take credit for the new vaccine. That's what I said. And get this, go one step further. The vaccine that he's trying to take credit for was not a part of his Warp Speed program.
Wait a minute. You're not going to tell me he's trying to take credit for the Pfizer vaccine?
Yeah.
That wasn't the one he was talking about a few months ago.
No. He was talking about Moderna.
Right.
And AstraZeneca. But, you know, it's me. It's never we or our or the American people. And so if he wants to know why he lost, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Then let's talk about this other thing.
Okay.
Elected Republicans. I have never seen so many Jello spine lap dogs. That's what we're gonna call them. They lap dogs. Because he just lost. Now I get that. They say, oh, he got 72 million votes. But he lost. He took an L. And they're too afraid to speak out and do what's right. I don't expect him to do what's right.
Well, let's you know, I had this question, and my child asked me, she said, Daddy, why don't we have a president yet? Isn't it as simple as counting the votes? I mean, and I had to explain to her. And she said she just didn't get it. And I said, here's the reality. The reason why, the point you bring up, the reason why elected officials in the Republican Party are not willing to say what they really believe. They'll say it behind closed doors. But they're not going to say it in public. They're not going to say it anywhere that he can hear what they're saying. It's because they feel like they need him and his following in order to win their races and to keep control of the Senate.
Yeah, it's about Georgia.
So it's about me. It's about me. It's not about we the people.
I get that. But the democracy suffers in the meantime.
Democracy will always suffer when the focus is on me instead of we.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't know, man. Oh, got a lot of people in the house today. Anybody have questions?
All right. Yeah, guys, let me put up in here any questions that you have about anything. We're going to talk about a couple of things today, from business
You know
to.
what? You know what? I got something else I want to run by you. This was on the
Okay.
top of my brain. I apologize.
Okay.
You have progressive Democrats, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have centrist Democrats.
Right.
They're arguing with each other. They're having a food fight over who was right and who was wrong.
Right.
I don't think either one of them has realized they're fighting about the disinformation that was put out there. So we need to probably talk about disinformation because they're talking about defund the police and some other
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
I didn't hear any Democrat advocate for that. I didn't hear any Democrat advocate as a socialist. That was disinformation that was flooded into the zone by digital mediums, meaning by Facebook,
Right.
by TikTok, by name something else. I'm not familiar with Instagram. So
Periscope.
yeah, and some place called Parler. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But that's what that is.
It's more of an advocacy one.
Yeah, they need to really chill out because it's disinformation. That was stuff that was put out there to make them have those arguments.
Yeah, and I hear that too. I laugh about it like you do, and it's like, okay, well, because I believe it or not, somebody, I was talking to them, said, well, the thing that concerns me about whether President Biden, and I like him as a man, the thing that concerns me is about him being a socialist. I was like, when did he ever say he was a socialist? What has he ever done to show in his history says he's a socialist? That information didn't even come from the source. Where'd you get it? And you're right, it comes from social media. And when you think about it, I always say that most people are in the middle, and I truly believe that. But 90% of the world is in the middle. 5% are on the extremes. The problem with the 5% is they can only seem to grasp the 5%. They can't grasp the middle, and they definitely can't grasp the other opposite of extreme. But when 90% of the people is in the middle, and if you look, so what I say to any Republican, any Democrat, when you look at how many people voted, let me explain something to you. 70 million people on the Republican side that voted for President Trump, the 77 million plus on the Biden side that voted for him, guess what? Every last one of them want to make sure their families are safe and that they can provide for them. Every last one of them want to make sure that we do something about this coronavirus so they don't have to lose another loved one or family member. Every last one of them cares about where this country is going and being able to operate in a way that they deem is efficient. So when you look at the core values, they're there. We may differ, and where the difference is in how we do it. The difference has always been in how we do it, but not what we want. And so when I hear this stuff coming out of left field, I'm like, what book is that in? Because I obviously missed that reading list.
Here's where I would challenge your thinking on that. Just slightly.
All right.
Just like that was probably pre-Fox News and pre-9/11. Because once 9/11 happened and Fox started getting the most viewership, they went from being fair and balanced. Remember when that slogan used to be fair and balanced?
Yep.
To right now, they have Kelly McEnany on there today talking about the man asked her if President Trump was going to go to the inauguration. She said, yeah, he's going to the inauguration. He's going to have his own.
Wait a minute, is that the press secretary?
Yes. That type of stuff. So it's an added layer to the right now that's got a little bit of a disease to it because they are advocating for things that are contrary to democracy and the norms of society in America. Now, in Russia or China, those autocratic things are okay, but that's not how we get down.
Right.
We vote, winner stays, Loser got to go. Just that simple. Now, I get the fact that Mitch McConnell is a wily veteran, but he's been radicalized. He had a problem when Barack Obama became president, and he's been getting worse and worse and worse ever since, because I think what happened is once he started radicalizing in his thought process, it became all about power. But he's been there for a long time, and there was a time when he was in that place that you're talking about, center right.
Right.
Now he's far right.
Right. We got some questions, Todd.
All right, shoot them to me.
Here we go.
Do we think the election transition will be prolonged within the Supreme Court? No. Here's why. January 20th, noon, inauguration. They don't have any grounds. They have no way to change the Constitution. All this stuff you hear about going to the states and getting the electors and all that stuff, yeah, that's been analyzed for 100 years, and there's a reason why no one has done it, and that's because it's too many layers. It's too difficult to pull off, and even if you did pull it off, nobody's going to disenfranchise millions and millions of voters, because that's the end of America as we know it. Not happening.
Right.
So January 20th, Joe Biden will be sworn in. All the rest of this stuff is just baloney.
It's the show.
Yeah, it is.
Purposes only.
Yeah, you have to watch. Remember, I put up a post about it. And a lot of this is for fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
yeah, I saw that.
Which the way that fundraising letter is set up, I think it is close. It's right up to the edge of violating election law. It's right up to the edge. I think that may be okay. The other thing is to collect email addresses and information on the people that are donating. That is against the law, but they're going to do it anyway. How likely do you think student debt clearance will actually happen? I'm told that there is an executive order that is being written right now. Don't hold me to this because I'm not in Biden's cabinet, but he is going to address student debt via executive order, so he doesn't have to wait around on Congress. It's supposed to be the first 50,000. That's what I'm hearing. So let's all keep our fingers crossed. What do you think should be Biden's first plan in office? Well, Ayana, I think part of what he has to do and part of why the transition team is being blocked is he needs to see how bad each one of these agencies is from a budget standpoint. Needs to see if any money is being siphoned off. From a personnel standpoint, he's gonna have to hire probably 3 or 4 times the number of people that President Trump hired, because he couldn't really find credible people to work for him. So he just got a whole bunch of people who don't know anything, to be real about it. And he's gonna have to reverse that. And then the other thing is, he's got to see if Buddy Boy has tried to declassify any state secrets and make them for sale. So those are the things that he's gonna have to work on right away. And then I believe he's already named the COVID-19 task force. Right. But I think he's also going to be putting together a group of people to look for the 600 sets of parents for the kids at the border. And there's a whole host of things that he's going to have to try to do right away. And that's why this transition is important. So the more of the finesse stuff that you can do around the finances and the paperwork and that type of stuff, you can actually see what else needs to be done.
All right. Here we go. Another one.
I've heard that Biden plans on shutting down the U.S. for 4 to 6 weeks to get the virus under control. Do you think that will be effective, seeing how people acted when quarantine laws were first put into place earlier this year? Funny you say that, because the president just said his administration wouldn't be shutting it down, but he didn't know about, and then he stopped because he realized he was about to. Wait a minute.
He realized actually conceded without realizing.
You almost conceded by accident. It's gonna largely depend. I think part of this too is he's stalling because he doesn't like being president. He likes the trappings of the office. He liked the airplane. He liked the helicopter. He liked the chefs. He liked the fluffy bed. He likes staying at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He likes all of that. But he doesn't like to do work. So part of what I think he's doing is he's all for herd immunity, which means every man for himself. If you catch it, you catch it. And so it's maybe so far out of control. I think the last estimate I saw is if he tries to do some stuff to get people to wear masks, he could probably bring it down to the 300s. But it's getting ready to do a compound interest flip. If we don't do something, the number that I saw last night from the guy who's been tracking it from Washington, he said 500,000 deaths by March. So I don't know. You tell me. Do you want to shut down to try to save some lives, or do you want to just talk about fatigue?
Just crazy. I've got to go back to this because, and then we're gonna go to the next question. Keep the questions coming. You guys have great questions, so keep them coming. I've been talking about this, Charles, now for 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Comparing, because I don't think because of the way, and we've been dealing with the virus now for 8 months, and I don't think people really quantify just how ravaging this virus is.
How massive the death toll is.
And how massive the death toll is. Yeah. So let me put this up. You already know where I'm going.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and I share this, and I keep sharing it. Vietnam, over a 20-year span,
that's right,
killed 245,000 Americans.
Over how long now?
20 years.
Yeah. Okay. Now come on with it. What's the comparison you're trying to get to?
Corona, which we haven't even reached a year yet. Corona has infected 10.7 million people in the U.S. This is just U.S. alone.
Yes.
Has killed 243,000 Americans.
Yeah. And just in case anybody was wondering, there are no ICU beds in Jackson, Mississippi. So if you're in Jackson, you might not want to get sick right now.
Yeah, and we know what the deal is with Texas. We're the first state to reach 1 million cases.
Yeah, California did it today. So,
I mean, it's heart-wrenching. It's heart-wrenching. I just, when we do get back to church and able to go into church as we used to know it, particularly those of us that are in the larger congregations where we really can't go back right now.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I've got to come to the reckoning that there are people that I work with every day and volunteer with every Sunday, a couple of Sundays a month, that I will no longer see. I will never see again.
No doubt.
Good people.
Yeah.
And one family I work with, not only did the grandfather pass, but the daughter-in-law passed. And so as the son was on his way to the funeral for the father, he got the call that his wife had just passed.
That's rough.
I don't know how people cannot take a few seconds to put on a mask and not wear a mask. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't understand how we cannot look out for one another. I don't understand how we cannot be our brother or our sister's keeper. I don't understand. So Charles, enlighten me on what I'm missing here, because we got something that has done what it took Vietnam 20 years to do, and it's done in 8 months.
Well, this is where leadership matters, because when you model a certain thing, the presidency is a whole lot more powerful than people like to pretend that it is. Trump has had a very deleterious effect upon the United States that is going to last for 4 or 5 generations. It's going to have to literally die out.
Yeah.
It's going to have to die out.
So we got another question, Charles. Here we go.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, that's a demon, Iris. We're gonna have to have a science for that.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. It should be mandatory. That's my personal feeling. When you have something this extreme, everybody should be required to take it. Because if you don't take it and you breathe on me and I get corona, I'm gonna be mad with you.
You know, here's a good one. Man, you guys are really bringing it today.
Yes, I do think it will become.
So, you know, look, let me just put it this. We can speak to this as employers. And how we feel about it just in our place. We got a vaccine.
I'm gonna need everybody that's coming through the doors here
to take it.
It's just that
simple. Yeah, real simple for us in that way. Yeah, and you guys keep bringing them. You guys are bringing some good questions. So I think, you know, the reality of it is most people feel the same way. There's a comment in there by Kayla Robinson that she feels the same way. Most people feel the exact same way. This didn't have to get this bad, but we're here now, but we have to do something about it. I think the other thing that I think President-elect Biden will do is to rejoin the World Health Organization.
Oh, that's day one. All of that's happening on day one.
I think that's absolutely going to happen.
Paris Climate Accord, World Health Organization. He's already started talking with allies. He can't talk too much because the transition is he's being blocked from secure line. So you got to watch what he says. But expect all of those things to happen.
Mm-hmm. You know, and the reality is why somebody asked one time, why is being a member of the World Health Organization so important? Because when you talk about a pandemic that's worldwide, everybody has to be on the same page. Yeah. Don't you realize if one country has a vaccine and we don't, all that is null and void as soon as one person from another country go to visit?
Well, and not only that, things like this happen, Leslie. There's a report out today that China is about to develop a vaccine. Guess where they got the information for their vaccine?
World Health Organization.
No, player. They hacked America. We're not a part of the World Health Organization. They hacked us, got the scientific information and built their virus off of what they found. So you got to be careful about when you alienate yourself, because then you're out there on the island. And that's the type of thing that happens, things that don't get talked about. It's a national security risk to not be talking to your allies.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, that's where we are. It's very much something that we got to keep ourselves focused on. And look, I'm going to say this, and you guys know, and I'll put it up. I'm glad you said that. I'll make sure I have the link to tell you that we'll talk about before the end of the show today. We'll certainly talk about our efforts for some additional things and what we're doing in Georgia at the end of the show, and show you how you can get involved with that. But I think we have to be a member of the World Health Organization and the climate control thing. We've seen the effects of all of that. I think more importantly, like you said, when you put yourself on an island, you're most vulnerable.
That's right.
Nobody's watching your back.
That's right. And you need that. I mean, because information sharing is the way of the world today. But now when you put yourself in a position where you're not talking, then how do you go and tell somebody to help you when you get hacked?
It's real simple, Charles. You don't.
There you go.
You know, I mean.
Well, I mean, they get
that's the simple. I mean, not the answer we want, but that's the simple answer to it.
Yeah. I mean, and then think about it from this standpoint. There is a Blue Ribbon Commission study on the peaceful transition of power that has clearly stated that 9/11 is directly tied to the squabbling that was done during the transition of government, because they took their eye off the ball. crucial pieces of information. Sometimes information comes in data packets so small that it takes years and years and years to sift through. So if you miss something in the transition, and when we say peaceful transition of power now, it's not like some trumpets playing and everybody's out there at the inauguration cheering on, because that's what you see on TV.
Right.
It would be as if Walmart and Amazon decided we're going to switch all our employees out at one time. Because on January 21st, it's the Biden administration.
Right.
That is an unbelievably intricate process, because it's not just the White House. It's every governmental agency that's in the federal government, from the parks all the way up the chain to some of the civilian military leaders.
No doubt. No doubt. So, guys, keep the questions coming. What other questions do you have? Whether it's dealing with anything today, it's free Lance Friday. So, whether we're dealing with business, whether we're dealing with the election, keep the questions coming.
Here's my question.
Go for it.
Now that the presidential election is over, what is everybody going to do?
Well, I got plenty to do, but I think there's a bigger question, Charles.
Well, not
what are you going to
the standpoint of the unfinished business. I'm just saying, like, this is one of the first times where you got a chance to actually see how the sausage is made when it comes to votes and how they're processed. And I mean, technically, Trump has lost like 10 days in a row. So, that's a lot of losing. So what are people planning on doing? Because I know everybody that I know was sitting back wanting to know what was going on in Nevada with those votes being counted one at a time.
Yeah. Well, just since we talked last week, just to shape this up, Nevada has been called. Arizona has been called.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia has been called.
That's right.
So as of the latest, this is the irony in it all. The final lead will be the same exact electoral college vote breakdown as it was in 2016.
No doubt about it.
Trump won. So all I'm saying, and I was laughing with some of my Republican friends when I said, hey, if it was a landslide then, and it's the same numbers now, I guess it's a landslide now.
But try this on for size. Same electoral win.
Greater margin on the popular vote, though.
Well, Trump lost by 2 million on the popular vote.
I know, it's greater now.
Oh, yeah. So I'm saying Joe Biden is going to win by almost 7 million votes.
Right.
So you tell me what a landslide is. Tell me what a mandate is. And for those, I know I got some students in here. For those of you who don't understand what the word mandate or landslide, those actually have meaning in American politics. The more you win by, the more perceived power you have in your first 100 days to do what you want to do in order to affect change. The difference is now the Republicans have decided to dig in and play defense for the last 12, 14 years. And then the other thing too, now they still approving judges. They have approved like 4 or 5 judges since they got back in town from the date that the election was over. So don't be fooled, because they're going to start talking about Biden shouldn't do this and Biden shouldn't do that. And we want to help pick the cabinet because we want bipartisanship. This is where we get to the unfinished business. Because the only way that you can break that up and get meaningful change, the stuff that all you young folks ask for, is to go out and work for those 2 Senate seats in Georgia. Ordinarily, a Senate race is a local politics race, even if it is for the United States Senate. In this particular case, We are at an inflection point, and that means that the race is national. Either you want Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to actually be able to go out and give us meaningful policy, thereby you help us win these 2 Senate seats, or you want to have a mediocre term for Joe Biden because they block all of the big stuff.
Yeah, and if you want to join the movement to help, and people always ask me, I'm putting a link right in the chat. You can go there and sign up, and I'll show you what that page looks like. So just go right here, sign up. It has tells you when, where it goes down, about the candidates. You can get to their sites, plenty of resources of how you get involved, all prepared for you. So we make it easy for you. Right there, the link is there. Sign up. You'll get, any communications of anything. We get anything that Charles puts out there as communication is all here for you. So we made it easy where you didn't even have to look for it. We have provided it for you at your fingertips.
Yeah. Here's one for you. They're running an ad right now saying that Pastor Warnock, Reverend Raphael Warnock.
Yes, they are. I know the one you're going to talk about, the whole anti-sentiment.
Yeah.
They reference he was in cahoots with Jeremiah Wright. That one?
Yes.
Okay.
They're running this ad, basically smearing this man, saying that, he is a reverend, radical, anti-Semite, meaning he doesn't like Jewish people. So basically, he's like a reverend socialist, nasty man. that's what it amounts to.
Never quite heard it put like that before. But
here's why I say that, because this is where the Democrats fall short sometimes, is that they let people define who they are. In this particular instance, though, Reverend Warnock was ready for him because he had already put out his commercial saying, hey, look, they're going to come for me. They're going to start messing with me because I eat pizza with a fork and I love puppies. Which was a very, very smart way to do it, because they don't have any ideas to talk about, because the stuff that they want to talk about, nobody but that 5% you were talking about is interested in.
All right, let me go. We got more questions. Let me go get to some of these. Charles.
Lay it on me. Let's see what we got.
Miss Shay. I thought we answered those questions about student debt. So put that question in again that you're referring to. I also have a question. Here we go, Charles.
Why do people keep comparing this race to the Bush-Gore race? Actually, I have no idea why. They tried to make this is disinformation at play. They tried to make it seem like this was Bush v. Gore on steroids. That's what they kept saying, Bush v. Gore on steroids. So now everybody thinks it's like Bush v. Gore. The difference is Bush v. Gore came down to one state, one county, and 1,000 votes.
Right.
For the whole shebang. So if you have a recount on 1,000 votes, it's a chance some are going to fall off. Anything over 1,000, no, you don't really have a shot. Plus, in Bush v. Gore, they had a whole lot better legal team.
And then in Bush v. Gore, we were talking about those chassis ballots, right?
Hanging tads.
Hanging tads, yeah.
Basically, when you put they had a different type of voting machine where you had a manual punch on it. And the issue became whether or not you voted for Pat Buchanan or Al Gore. And they couldn't tell the difference because some of the little pieces of paper never actually detached. Okay, that's a weird argument to make, I know. But it was a winning argument when you're only talking about 1,000 votes.
Right.
So for comparison's sake, just to close the circle on it, President Trump filed a bogus lawsuit in Arizona talking about decertifying and all this other stuff, Sharpie Gate, some other stuff. Okay. The judge asked the attorney specifically, what is this suit about and how many votes are affected? they said 280 votes, and and that it wasn't really about voter fraud, he got thrown out on the spot. Because 280 votes will not change 11,000.
No day of the week. No day
No.
of the week.
And here's the other thing. They're wasting time and money on this manual recount in Georgia. But they're doing that to try to gin up the Republican base to make it seem like he was cheated. I submit that it's going to backfire because it makes me feel like they're trying to take it away from us with no good reason.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what's going on there, because the lieutenant governor and the governor both kind of said as much. Because, you know, the law doesn't require them to hand count it.
No, they could have ran them through the machines going by
machine count. And
so they're trying to gin up controversy.
Right. We got another question here.
How do I feel about SB and Cindy Hyde Smith? I really don't have any feelings about it. I feel like there was organizing done, but I feel like the messaging and the message that was sent by the voters is clear. They were in that 70 million that voted for Trump. Therefore, they could not reconcile voting for SB because but Jeremiah Wright is kind of tainted. So, but back to my point. Mississippians voted for medical marijuana. They voted for a new flag. But they couldn't bring themselves to vote for a black man. So that means racially we have some work to do because they tried to make it seem like he was bad, he was other, he was that. Well, bad other than that is skin tone.
Yeah. That's the translation to that.
Right. Jeremiah Wright is a good pastor, and he has a long history of doing good, but for politics, he is not in the mainstream.
All right, good stuff. They bring the funk today.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, let's see. What this Initiative 65 is medical marijuana. So essentially what's going to happen is, because it's a red state, they're going to slow play implementation of it because they were against it. Then there's going to be court challenges to challenge the processes for how it's implemented. And then it will finally get implemented. But
so it could be 5 years away.
Could be. It could be.
Yeah.
It's basically providing medical marijuana access by prescription.
Let me give you an idea, Charles. I was still in Arkansas, or maybe I had just left Arkansas. No, I had
just left. Yeah.
I think I just left when they passed it.
Yes, and it took them
just really getting it going right.
Yeah, it took them about almost 10 years to get it going.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a positive step. The flag is a positive step. Also getting the Jim Crow language out of the Constitution to basically say that they can override it if they didn't like somebody who won an election. Those are all positive steps. But we still have some work to do in order to progress Mississippi.
At least 5 years.
5 years? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So you can imagine about that time.
Yeah. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have some ups and downs. And then the other thing I want to point out is this. No matter how you feel about Trump's politics, Trump is a master salesman of himself.
Yes, he is.
So a lot of that disinformation, when paired with him being on the ballot and the placement of his name at the top of the ballot, that is ground zero for getting a lot more votes in R+1 districts. And what I mean by R+1 is there are more registered Republicans by a factor of 1 or a factor of 2. When those districts are set up like that because of gerrymandering and whatever, then yes, with him on the ticket, they're more likely to win those. And that's why the Democrats suffer some losses, but the Democrats are fighting about the wrong thing. And we need to focus on Georgia because they're focused on Georgia. They've already put about $40 million into Georgia.
Already.
And I feel like they are so busy trying to talk about health care and what it means and COVID, but you're in a red state that just turned blue. So chances are they're COVID deniers or they don't believe in science. So that argument is not going to work. What you need to be talking about is you need to bring it behind and vote. Because if you don't, you're not going to get no police reform. You're not going to get anything that you want.
I mean, that's real talk right there. And this is why we have taken to the air to use our platform to talk about it, because the reality is this, and it is no ill shot to the Republicans. They went out and voted. They had control of the Senate. They got the things pushed through they wanted to get pushed through. That's the democracy. That's how it works.
Yeah. And you have to be aware. You know, I talk to you about this all the time. You have to be aware that they have people in just the right places, i.e. Morning Joe, all of these shows that are kind of liberally leaning. They have those people in there that are going to push the company line of bipartisanship, divided government. Well, that's the way it's written in the Constitution. That's fine if everybody does it.
Right.
But we see with our eyes, everybody's not doing it.
Right. I mean, a prime example is right now in this transition.
They're willing to let the country teeter on the brink of tearing the fabric of a 240-year-old democracy. And that's all for the sake of keeping their base riled up so that they can win Georgia.
Right. Me versus we.
Yes.
So I think, the reality is, so get involved, do your part. I've always said get involved in the political process in some way. We all have a part in it. We have a vote, we have a voice, we have a right, we also have a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the reality is, I always tell people, if you're going to take some losses in this game. And I think it was you that gave me that further. You're going to take some losses in politics, but that's what makes the system of democracy work.
That's right.
Nobody has power all the time. That means you're going to get some of your things, we're going to get some of our things, but collectively as a people, when the fight is over, you got to come back together and move on. And I think, what we have and what we're seeing, unfortunately, is a one person that has so much leverage over one party and a whole bunch of people right now that we're only hearing the voice of one person.
Well, here's what I'll tell you about that, though. The one person that we're not talking about is actually leveraging all the power, and that's Mitch McConnell.
Well, that was the person I was talking about.
Oh, okay. He's not really saying anything right now because he's just getting judges through. But what he did say was he don't think COVID is that bad, so you don't need no stimulus money. When we know that's a lie. What he said was he don't think COVID is that bad, so you don't need no rent or mortgage relief because COVID is not that bad. So he would rather focus on a focus package, meaning take care of the big businesses. Don't worry about the little man. So if you're tired of that type of thinking, then you need to be involved in that race in Georgia. I don't care if you live in Pawtucket. Georgia is that important because he's the obstacle.
I mean, Peter, I'm gonna put the link out again.
I don't know, man. I mean, I remain hopeful. I remain hopeful. I'm not worried about the presidency. That's over. I want him to hurry up and leave, but he seemed like he's the type of cat you might have to actually go in there and bring him out kicking and screaming.
Well, you just might. We've seen a bunch of firsts.
Seen a bunch of firsts.
And I think, I've never seen the moving, the actual moving vans and any of that on Inauguration Day. You might see it for the first time.
I've seen the moving vans. They already got moving vans up there. I mean, you playing games.
No, what I mean is all that stuff is handled in the transition as smoothly. You never
You
might see them this time.
Probably the last thing they do is ride the helicopter.
Yep.
Joe might have to actually call the cleaning lady.
Well, and I think this year, I don't even think they're going to ride. They're not going to do any of that together because of COVID. But
but here's the thing, though. I'm telling you what they're saying. This man is likely to hold a campaign rally on Inauguration Day.
Oh.
See what I'm
saying? No, I didn't. I didn't see what you were saying. I do now.
I think he's going to kick off his campaign for 2024 on Inauguration Day.
Wait a minute. He's already announced he's running for 2024?
He hasn't announced it, but I'm just giving you my crystal ball action.
Oh, okay.
Because he wants to hold the Republicans in check, and he wants to make Fox News pay. That's what's on his mind right now. He cares less about how many people die, how many people get infected. It's about him.
I will tell you this. He's not fading away into the darkness. He is going to find a way to buy something or get something that gives him the ability to have a platform.
He might. But I want everybody to remember this name. Letitia James. I want you to remember another name. Cy Vance.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say those two names.
Remember those two names, because he probably going to have to go check in with them. Cy Vance is district attorney for Manhattan. Letitia James is the Honorable Attorney General for New York State. They both are investigating him. So take it for what it's worth.
You got it.
Any questions left?
Let me check. I think we got most of them. I got one question for you, Charles. There was an article. I forget. I would quote the source. However, I've forgotten where I read that article, who posted it. But it was an article regarding the president was preparing to the process to get his final pardons out, and that he was considering pardoning himself, which I think you can do that, right? I think, and again, pardons only are regarding federal charges. They have nothing to do with state charges. I know that.
Right. So there's two steps to it.
Okay.
He can pardon himself, even though nobody's ever done that before.
Right. Nobody's ever done it. Nobody's ever done it. Let me say that.
First of all, let's talk about how rare that is. Nobody has ever done that, but it's doable. I hope somebody explains this caveat to him, though. Pardons go backwards. They don't go forward. So if he breaks the law after January 21st,
right,
game on.
Well,
and the other thing, hold on. This is very, very, very important when you talk about pardons.
Okay.
They do not apply to state charges. I hope nobody tells him that. I mean, they could tell him, but with the caliber of lawyers that he got, they might not know that.
So in other words, you said it won't happen with Miss James. Mr.
Vance. Might for either one. Because see, here's the thing: Letitia James has probably the most latitude. She's not gonna file criminal charges on him. She can hit him with civil charges under what's called blue sky laws, because he has charities and other money associated with philanthropic interest in the state of New York. See, in his mind, one of them $2 attorneys he got told him, Mr. President, if you move to Florida, if you move your residence to Florida, she can't get you. So he's thinking, oh, she can't really get me. That's bad legal advice.
Oh, man.
Ooh, yes, ma'am, Iris. She warming up.
You know, the other question was in the article it referred, and again, guys, this is just an article I read. I wish I could even get a source you could find it, but
what you talking about was in the Washington Post.
Washington Post, yeah, you can find it in Washington Post. They also said he was asking a lot of the aides have reported that he was asking a lot of questions about could he pardon his family members, and could he pardon them for not only what they've done in the past, but what they could possibly do in the future. Charles just answered that question. You can't do that.
Get half
You
of
can't basically say,
yeah.
I'm gonna give you a get out of jail free card forever.
Yeah, he can get half of it, but he can't get 2 bites. He can't get 2 bites. Nah, he can't get 2 bites. He gonna pardon. Now, I imagine by 50 days in, he probably gonna pardon everybody he ever met in his life.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I absolutely expect him to pardon all his family.
I'm talking about family, friend, golf buddy,
everybody.
I've even heard about, because he knows a lot of people that's criminals. So
now, is there a number? Or he has no restrictions on how many people he can pardon?
He's probably gonna break whatever the record is.
And keep in mind, he's already used quite a few pardons already.
Oh, those are not even microwave popcorn, buddy. He's gonna get warmed up, and he's not gonna be able to stop.
All right, we got another question, Charles.
All right. Who? What? Who is that? Will Biden take away our right to bear arms? What is he, like the Magi? It's in the Constitution. That man not interested in your guns.
He can't take away your guns anyway.
That's that disinformation I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen, guys. It's in the Constitution. Not gonna happen.
No.
You can't even get all of one party to vote for that.
No.
Better yet, two.
No. He may put in common sense gun laws to keep people from walking around with AK-47 with banana clips,
right,
or drum clips that hold 100 rounds. What do you need that for?
And I think that's the point. Gun control doesn't mean taking away guns. It's two very different things. Gun control means you have some regulation around what's allowed and what's not.
Yeah, sensible.
It can't just be a free for all like it is now.
Yeah. So when you're talking about the area of gun control, he's probably going to look at strengthening background checks, trying to check for domestic violence and mental issues. He's going to look at closing gun show loopholes so that felons or people that's not supposed to have guns, or people that are straw buyers, meaning they come to Mississippi or other places with gun shows, and then they go off to the city and sell them and flood the neighborhood with them. That type of stuff. But Republicans do a great job of making it sound like the man is the big bad wolf. He can't. He's not going to take away your gun.
Good deal. He's
no worries.
Good question.
That's a great question, because that speaks to that disinformation. Huh? There may be some changes. There may be some changes in the overall revamping of higher education. Trying to change, because guys, I want y'all to think about this. A lot of these agencies and rules that are set up around farming. Raise your hand if you're a farmer. No, I'm not. I'm just playing. But it was raised around the almanac and harvest. A lot of the laws that are on the book when it regards to education was that because people had large families so that they could help bring in the harvest. Therefore, they could go to town and sell it and make money so they could eat. We are a mechanized, digitized, information-based society these days. And so there may be some consideration about changing around some of the way we go to school and that type of stuff. I don't know. I hadn't heard that. We can have that conversation once they tell us who the Secretary of Education is going to be. But for those educators that are in here, I'm pretty sure they're glad to see that Bessie DeVos only has about 60 or so days to go, because she was horrible, and she was all about taking money out of public education and moving it into school choice. Alan Nipsey.
So I hadn't even heard that about Harris wanting schools to stay open to 6, but I can tell you if they got them staying open to 6, it's for a reason, and that's true. We are working off of. If you look at other cultures, they've been revamped the education system to accommodate modern times. We're back in Foreman days where they needed you to go between those hours so that they could work.
Exactly.
That's really where that school schedule came in play.
Yeah.
at least tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. Goodbye, Bessie.
If you guys don't know, Betsy DeVos is the Secretary of Education, and it's been a long 4 years for those who've been in education dealing with Betsy. I'll just say that. And Lisa, she can come and stay at school with these kids to 6. I don't
I don't have enough information to say yes or no.
Yeah. And I don't think anybody does at this point. I think we'll wait and see, but I'm pretty sure if that's what's coming in play, it's going to be some modifications. I think it's going to be this same amount of hours in a day.
Yeah.
But all right, mate. Let's not get ahead of ourselves until the plan is rolled out, and then we'll certainly be talking about it.
But I do know about that student debt.
Educate. Yes, and that is true. I do know. I've heard it already. The education is I think that's a good bet. The education is probably going to be Jill, the First Lady's initiative. I think that's a very good bet.
Oh yeah,
Dr. Jill is all about education.
Yeah,
spend our life doing it. Now I'm all in favor of the student loan. I don't know how many of you guys, if you're in favor of having some student loan relief, just hit yes in the comment section for that one.
Yeah.
If
they do that, now that's center living right now. Now watch this. I want you to watch this play, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Republicans are gonna be like, "Oh no, you can't do that. That's not fiscally responsible." Can you cancel mine too? That's the first thing they're gonna say is, "Can you cancel mine too?" Why? Why?
Look, we got a bunch of yeses up in the chat of that student loan relief. I know that's right. Let me put my yes up in there because yes. Student loan debt is they just won't ever go away. They just like some aggravating neighbors that just bother you all the time.
Yeah, because they only play loud music on the 1st and the 15th. They want their money. Run me my money. That's what they're saying.
That's exactly what they're saying. You got your education. I want my money.
Yeah.
Nah, guys. But hang in there. Get involved. And thanks for somebody coming in. They love the website. Thanks. Hey, we're just trying to do our part to make sure you got the resources to get involved, to help. Sign up. Put your email in there. We'll be able to communicate with you as we get closer about the needs that we're hearing. As we stay tied into Stacey Abrams and her group and the other groups that are there, Black Voters Matter, all the other groups as well. So the whole thing is, this is not a Georgia issue. This is an American issue, and we've got to all get involved and play our part and help. And there's something that you can do. So trust me, there's more than one thing. If you don't like to make phone calls, but you don't mind donating $5, then you donate. If you don't have $5 to donate, but you don't mind texting, then you hit the text bank. We got links to all of that on that site for you. There is something you can do.
Yes, and just so we're fully transparent, we are, those donation buttons do not associate with me, Leslie, or the firm. That's all going to John Ossoff or either Ravian Warnock. We just gathering the information so everybody can have it.
That is it. We don't get a dime. It doesn't even come my way. I won't even know if you donated or didn't.
No.
So we just making sure you have the resources so you can know how to get involved if you choose to do so.
Yeah. And you should grab some friends, have some fun with it. See who can get to texting 100 texts first.
Right.
And I'm supposed to have some TikTok videos coming sometime soon. I haven't seen them yet, though.
Oh, yeah? I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So, wait a minute. What did Iris say? Iris, you that means you have done it right. You have gotten them all paid off early. You've nailed it. You don't need no help. Iris, that's just like people that make over $400,000 a year and they don't want to pay no taxes. Iris, you got to pay your taxes.
Yeah, that's not part of the plan, Iris.
Iris like, can I get a refund? No refund.
No, they're not doing that.
All sales, all loans are found.
Yep.
All right. Well, look, Charles, it's been a good one. We're at our time, but we'll take one last question if anybody has one before we get out of here. One last question. If not, we will be getting out of here. Let me see if I get one last question going once. Wait a minute. Give us a minute on. Nip said, give us a minute on the tip top.
All right.
All right, guys, be safe, wear your mask, do your due diligence. Thanksgiving is coming. You've heard the recommendations that they're putting out from CDC and everywhere. Do not gather. Look, guys, and there's a process. If you want to gather, you just want to get with your family, guess what? They got a plan for that too. It involves quarantine.
Yeah, you need to go ahead and take your test today and then be in quarantine for 14 days.
Right. And then you can see your family. But here's the key. They have to do the same thing.
Yes.
If they don't do the same thing, it doesn't work.
Yeah, if not, you're playing Russian roulette with your mom and dad.
Hey, look, I'm a prime example of it. That's why I haven't been able to make the trip I wanted to make.
That's right.
Yeah, we've got to do due diligence. So be safe. Have a great weekend. Social distance. Wear your mask. And we'll be back next Friday, same time as always. See you next Friday. Safe, sound, and ready to get involved. All right, bye, guys.
Leslie and I have known each other since early childhood. We grew up on the same country road in Mississippi.
I think why we're good for the community of Mississippi is because we're a product of this community. We are just two country guys, and we were embedded with what I call the diamonds of good character.
Come, join the family, and help us build the community.